Hi, welcome to Aurora Publishing Learning Center. I'm Kathleen Mailer, and I'm here with special guest Paul Larsen, author of Too Afraid to Live and Too Scared to Die. Hi, Paul. I'm glad that you were able to join us here today.
Hi, Kathleen. Thanks for asking me to come.
We have been having a blast reminiscing about the last 10 years of our life. Did I say that out loud? Actually, what's wonderful about the fact that we've brought Paul in here today is to help for those people who feel that perhaps maybe if they write a book, it won't have any longevity to it, or maybe that their topic is relevant just for today. But I'm here to tell you that if you write your book in the right way, your message is something that you can move forward and leave a legacy with. Paul, do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience? Yeah, it's okay to go all the way back over a decade ago to when we very first started writing and helping people write and publish their books. We just started it like 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Wow.
Was that the first one?
I think you were the first batch. He was first batch out of the oven.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so when Kathleen, I actually called Kathleen because I was in a pretty bad place, and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know where to turn, and I just called Kathleen because I didn't know what else to do, and she said, "Oh, well, you're going to show up here at this time and this date, and you're going to write a book." And I laughed.
He did. Oh, he really did. He laughed, and I said, "No, seriously, it's time for you to write a book."
Yeah, I didn't know about what. I had no idea. But you know, at that point, I was willing to do just about anything to stop the pain that was going on. So I showed up, and I guess I had a book.
Had several, actually.
Yeah.
And that's what happens to a lot of people too. You know, when they're coming to the boot camp, they some of them don't even know what they're going to write about. Other people have an idea, but what usually happens is when they get there, they put that idea on hold and something new kind of comes out of it. Just like what happened to you. You know, you didn't even know you had a book inside of you, and then you became a multi-author, and we'll get into that in a few minutes.
Yeah, it was, I mean, when I went there, I thought I was going to write about some stuff that I thought maybe I should probably write about, you know, about experiences in my life and whatever. But no, that wasn't it at all. It was, I had an experience there on the second day, and I remember it clear as if it happened yesterday, is that I was just overcome by, I guess for lack of a better word or term, the Holy Spirit. And in one afternoon, I wrote the introduction to my book, which was completely contrary to what I thought I was writing about. But and as far as the rest of it, it just all came out, just flowed.
What I lovingly like to refer to as emotionally barf it all out, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, it came out fast. It was like I was done writing it in 6 days. And that was like not even maybe 4 or 5 hours a day.
Right. Yeah. And it's a substantial book. It has a lot of meat and potatoes. It's something that I really love about it. Could you tell us about your, what came out of that was actually your mission in life, your purpose? I mean, he went there to write a book because I told him to. Seriously, right? And he came out of that with a whole purpose and a whole mission. Tell us a little bit about what your purpose and your mission is and what you hope people get from that experience of reading your book.
Well, one of the things that surprised me was when I actually got the message for the book, and when I actually got it out on paper, was how driven I was to write about people totally negating their purpose in life. I thought it would be a story about you know, my experiences of overcoming alcohol and drug abuse, which is true. It is about that, and it does, you know, relate, you know, a lot to anyone who's actually going through that stuff, because our stories are very, 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 very similar, and it's true today as it was 10 years ago, and those things don't change.
That's right.
But I mean, the strong message of the book is to not give up, and to maybe accept that what you are, accept that you have a purpose. And it's different than my purpose. It's different than your neighbor's purpose. And I didn't know that until I got there.
Right. That's awesome. What I love about the book as you go through your struggles with the drugs and with alcohol, you make it so simple, and I know that's part of sort of the book writing process that we teach, is to make it really simple so that it has little steps for people to take, because your perfect reader, your target market out there, is already overwhelmed with so many things, and in that place there's depression and anger and frustration and all sorts of things that to read a book is like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't really need that. But the beautiful thing about your book is it really actually captures every step and makes it so easy for you to move forward. And that's what I loved about it a lot. I loved it a lot. As a matter of fact, I mean, one of the reasons that I'm interviewing you here today is because I want people to know that when you write your book, it's something that lasts. It's a message that is true today as it is yesterday, as it will be tomorrow. And really, your book is actually leaving a legacy. Like, when you came, did you think that you would make such an imprint on this world?
No, I just hoped that I would actually, if one person actually got help from my message, from my book, that I had succeeded. And the funny thing about this book is it ends up going all over the place.
Yeah, tell us about your experience with it. A book is never a book, folks. That's all I can say, is it just goes. Tell us what happened after the book writing. First of all, tell us how long it took you, because this is one of the most fun things I love to share, and I share it with everybody who comes to the boot camp. But how long was it from the time that you got the book, conception, to bookstore and doing a book signing in the bookstore? How long was that?
That was took 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Now, don't do that to me, folks. That was a fast thing. But it can be done in 6 weeks. And a lot of people wonder how long it actually takes for the process. I was just interviewing an author this morning on our radio station. And he was saying that when he started writing to the time that the books are coming out into the bookstore, it's only been about 8 months, which is a good time because they have a full-time career and he's full-time doing all sorts of things. But his sister-in-law, I think it was his sister-in-law, is also writing a book, went through a different kind of avenue than what we teach, and she's still 4 years into it.
Wow.
4 years into it. And it doesn't have to be that way, right?
No, I'm having a little bit of an issue because I don't understand how it can take 4 years.
Yeah, we need to get it out there because people are literally dying for your message. And that was true, especially for your message. People were dying to have that information. So here he is, 6 weeks on. We went to your book signing and we all cheered for you as you got out there. But the cool thing wasn't it in the book signing that you had found some incredible contacts? Do you remember some of those things that happened in the book signing? People that he never met before?
Vaguely.
Well, I got to share this one. I'm going to brag on him a little bit. But there was a lady who came into the book signing that you were doing. I believe it was in a Kohl's bookstore, Chapters bookstore. And she had just lost her son to drugs. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And she's in a real heavy grieving state. You talked to her for a few minutes and she read your book, and I do remember sort of the testimonial that came back that this really helped her put it into perspective. Yeah. She was able to let it go, a lot more of the grief, because not that I've ever experienced it, but the loss of a child is the worst grieving process you can go through. And she'd come back to you and said that it really made a big impact on her. I knew that this had a bigger purpose than just a book, because it's never just a book. And there's been so many wonderful things. Tell us a little bit more about what happened after you got the book done. Where did this book go? Where is it today? What's happening with that?
Well, I ended up getting added to the syllabus of a nursing program at Athabasca University.
Now, do you know what a syllabus is? For some of them, they don't know what that is. Can you explain?
Okay, that's part of the required reading. So it's a required textbook for the practical nursing program.
Mm-hmm.
For, I think it's 4th year nurses.
Wow.
And it's just to give them insight into the mindset of a substance abuser, and,
Right.
because our stories are very, very similar. And I guess it went from there.
He finds out.
I find out back in 2007 or 8 that it's actually used in several recovery houses. I had no idea. I had people contacting me on Facebook about, that I used to know, who used to be my drinking buddies way back
In the day.
Yeah.
Way back. That's even further back than you and I here.
Yeah, it's quite a ways. And they said, "Are you the same Paul Larsen who wrote Too Afraid to Live, Too Scared to Die?" I'm like, "Yeah, that was me." Said, and then they proceeded to tell me how profoundly my book had affected their life and how it had helped them, and I'm grateful, that they actually got something out of it and that it actually helped them. It's very surprising. I had no idea that was going on, but it just seems to find its way to wherever it needs to be, right?
It's true.
Wasn't it you who said to me that the shelf life of the shelf life of a book is only a year, and then it's old news and nobody? Yeah.
No, it wasn't me that told you that. It was actually the bookstore who told you that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
the bookstore. And it's true sometimes on the bookshelves in the bookstore, but a book is never about being on the shelves in the bookstore. It's much bigger than that. And you're going into your 3rd edition with this book. You're giving a little bit more meat and potatoes, a little bit more substance. And that's wonderful part about what we teach at the boot camp is that you are in charge of your message. And there are things that you can do. So if you want to change it just a little bit, or if you want to add a little bit more, you can do that and still get it out and still make an impact and not wait like some people do. They wait until it's perfect, and you can't do that.
Yeah, because it's never perfect.
Never. Could take years to write a book, and we don't want to do that, especially with our messages. These are so important. So, I always say a book is never a book. What does that mean to you?
Well, for me, coming there and actually writing the book wasn't about writing the book. For me, it was a healing process. Mm. It was a complete healing from pretty much the beginning of my life up till that point, of healing old wounds and getting over things that I really needed to. It was very therapeutic writing the book, and for myself, I didn't realize that just getting that stuff out on paper had such an effect, but it gave me tremendous healing.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for that. That's a good point. A lot of people who come to the boot camp find that they have closure, or that they are able to work through a process that they never thought possible. I hear that a lot from my students that come to the boot camp. And what I want to say is, I feel that there are some people out there that are a little worried about sharing their stories, and I'd like you to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I can say with 100% assurity that there is no freedom like having a life with no secrets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And people, I get that question all the time. Aren't you afraid of who's going to read that? Aren't you afraid who's going to know?
Find out?
Yeah, and it's like, what? Well, they knew anyways, right? So everybody knew anyways. And if they didn't, well, whatever. I have nothing to hide. I mean, really, it happened. It was done, and that's in attempting to hide things or keep them under the covers. That just harbors guilt and shame and all those wonderful things. So it's like, yeah, I was more than happy to get it all out on paper and share it with the world, mm-hmm. and get it into the light where it needs to be.
Absolutely, and there's. I know that there are some people who are still in relationship with people who are part of their story. Now, there's ways to write that. So coming to the boot camp, you don't need to worry about it. It's a safe place, a safe environment. You make long-lasting friends in there, right? Because, you still know people from that time, and everybody relates. Your heart is on your sleeve. It's right out there. But it's a safe environment. You write it the way you're supposed to write it. And then there are things that you can do. If you're going to take it public, there are things you can do and ways of writing it so that you don't bring other people into it, so that there's no offense taken. Using the formula that I teach in there makes a big, big difference. I would like to now just talk a little bit about the publishing process of it. Did you find that easy to walk through and navigate?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, just like yeah. What can I say? It's like just send some stuff over there, and yeah.
And they send it back and say, "What do you think?"
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's not any heavy lifting at all. It's very, very. Kathleen's made it very, very easy.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good. Now we're going to talk a little bit about marketing, because this is something that is in the boot camp that I actually talk at great lengths about. We actually take a whole day and really go through a very specific marketing platform that I think is an amazing platform, because you can use it in everything you do. It doesn't matter if it's book business, if you're creating a foundation or a society, you use the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're going on a missions trip or anything. If you need to generate some cash flow, a book is a great way of doing that. One of the great things is, let's fast forward from the time you wrote that book and to now. You're able to put all the marketing into place now, brand new again, even though the book is not new.
Right. And I'm going to actually share a story. This is a good story. I actually, when I released I used to play in a professional band for a number of years. And when we released our last CD, I used all the marketing stuff for that CD. And, just for an example, pre-sales.
Pre-sales, yeah.
Pre-sales. We weren't done the CD yet. And we were out doing live shows. And we were selling CDs all over the place.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It
You
was
can use it everywhere.
Yeah.
And even getting into, we're really delving into more a very specific, where you can create 5 to 10,000. I had one client actually come to the boot camp on a Tuesday, and on Saturday she deposited 20,000 into her bank account by using this technique. And we know we can do that, and it doesn't matter if your book is brand spanking new, or if you're regenerating it, or if it's something that's relevant. But I need to say this. You did it in 6 weeks. We can create quite a bit of cash flow with everything. I do want to make it clear, though, that it isn't a magic formula where you snap your fingers and things are done. There is work.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of work.
There's some work involved in this. Because, I think too many people out in the world talk about these wonderful ideas, and they're great marketing plans, all those things, but they make it seem as though you can just snap your fingers and it magically appears. Yeah. I want to make sure that you understand that it is a simple process, but it does require effort, right?
Yeah, and it's not painful. It's not painful, but it's uncomfortable if you've never done it before.
That's right.
And just actually taking steps into the unknown. And really, that's the most uncomfortable part of the whole thing. Is there any serious heavy lifting? Not really. I think back to all of it, and really, there's not a lot of heavy lifting. So, yeah.
Just need to move forward. The hardest part, I think, is making the decision.
Yeah.
Like, do you really want to move forward on this path? Like anything. If you're called and your destiny this is part of your destiny, because it really is, because a book isn't a book, it's a part of your destiny. It gives you that platform, and you've got to make a choice. Now, do I really want to stand in my purpose, in my destiny, or do I just want to go around the same mountain again and again?
Yeah, and I think, as I said before, we all have a very definitive purpose.
Yes.
And all of our purposes are different because we all have different desires and dreams, and my dreams and desires are different than Kathleen's dreams and desires, and everybody's different. And those that are not walking in their purposes today, I'm begging you, I'm pleading with you. You need to get out there and start living your purpose, because people are dying. Mm-hmm. And they need to hear it.
That's right.
And they need to hear your message, feel your message, learn what you need to teach them. And those who think that it's insignificant, you better think again. Because I know for a fact that there are people out there who are right this minute begging for that information that you have.
That's right. Yeah, thank you. It's true. It's very true. And a good place to start, even if, it's just to find your purpose, is to come to the boot camp, because this is really, truly a life-changing event. If you want more information about that, you can go to www.abookisneverabook.com. I want to just thank you so much for coming and sharing. And if you want to get in touch with Paul, he's got amazing books, he's got amazing programs going on. I know that some of you really have a heavy message on your heart and you just don't know where to start. Can you give them some information on how to touch base with you?
Sure. You can visit my website at www.gzrecovery.com, or you can email me at Larsen, that's PLARSEN, at gzrecovery.com.
Great, yeah. Thank you. You can get a hold of me at 403-230-5946, extension 2, or you can email me at getbooked@shaw.ca. That's GETBOOKED @shaw.ca. Thanks again, and I hope next time we talk, you'll be on the bestsellers list.